And we are back continuing with the spiritual line, and we want to make sure people understand the existing condition of it, because since the time of Shavuot, when the spiritual line was set, there is a whole lot that went on ever since, and we know for sure that this line is extremely contaminated. It was stolen. People understand the witches are not going to get out of the spiritual line friendly. They must be taken out of there by force, by prayer, spiritual warfare, because they don't want to be outside as they were before. They were cast out back then. And that's why when they were found, they were put to death, because they were very dangerous. And they are not going to be out of the spiritual line only by the asking. They must be removed in a spiritual warfare. And this is when the priests are required. The priests, when they pray and they spend time in the Kadosh Kadoshims, and they are ministering to Yahweh Yeshua, then the spiritual line is definitely being maintained. At the moment, it is not. Because a lot of people around the world, they are using witches. And those are from the dark places. They are demonized. They use demons in people rather than themselves being outside. Then people are requesting their help. And what is the outcome of those who are in sin? Is destruction. They have a form that they are of God, but they destroy. What kind of a Savior are they preaching out there? A jade deity. Where it came from? From a pagan culture. What does it produce? Watch our nation. It's being destroyed. And the more it's being destroyed, the more people are using it. And the more they are using it, the worse it gets. And then when it comes to a person with a sound doctrine, what would be the normal? They go against the person. Because it's the normal of demonic activity. They destroy the people that Yahweh sends. Until the priests of Yahweh, they return to their duties. And then the spiritual line becomes clear. And this is the main objective of this portion. Today is Shavuot. It was given the privilege of granting the people outside of the camp a place for them to link themselves in. This is what was given. But the line is not maintained. What would be of Israel if the priests, they were not on duty, serving Yahweh in a temple? What it would cause? The nation would be destroyed. Because they had to maintain the services day and night. Did this situation change? No, it didn't. It did not. Rather than having the animals and sacrificing the animals and use the dam of animals, Yahshua came. And the maintenance continues. But the maintenance was neglected. And then what came from above was taken away and then was stolen. And then the very people that were put to death, then they are in charge of the spiritual line, doing crap. And then Israel that received the promises and the oracles, and they should be in charge of the spiritual line, became a reversed state of Yom Kippur. They began the outcasts, and then it reversed. Think of it. The services of the temple never changed. They were to be maintained as they were before, but then they only minister to Yahweh Yeshua. So the spiritual line then is maintained. And then the goys, they are then linked with the vine. Put your heads to work. Because this spiritual line must be retaken, and retaken by force. Through prayer. Through warfare. It doesn't come easily. What was the spiritual position of Israel when those pagan cultures would come into Israel? It was absolutely spiritual warfare in every way. And our nation is being destroyed because they are using witches. They are in the manuals, they are in the Bible, they are in any kind of a pamphlet. It's pandemic. And that's why the set apart people must be set apart. So they don't get involved in this condemnation, because if when they are involved in this condemnation, then they are condemned. When they die, they go straight down to the first death. And they are not saved. Yahshua can't save the people that are set apart being disobedient. There is no salvation for them. That's why Shaul stated very clearly. He said there is no therefore salvation or mercy or sacrifice or any other area that can save when they are knowingly in sin. But then they were deceived by witches. They think they can get around with it. And they are going to the first death. Because the guides of death produces death. But when they return to their camps and they are loyal to what Moses said for them to do, as Yahshua said, whatsoever Moses said for you to do, these do and observe, and speak in Hebrew. And then the spiritual line begins to be more clear, and clearer and clearer. And then the guys can be shepherded properly. There was a spiritual shadow of understanding. And it's only through prayer and warfare. The world is contaminated. They want to make this world a kingdom where it is condemned. Only the set apart people should be in their camps, and then would teach the world, would instruct the world. There is no half term. And in a camp only speak Hebrew. Outside, let them translate if they want. But in a camp only Hebrew. When they teach is in Hebrew. Because maintain the crap from the outside. So then we must start praying, making sure the priests, they are on duty and ministering to Yahshua. And He is Yeshua and He is Yahweh Yeshua. So then the spiritual line is maintained. Makes sense when Shaul said, myself not in person but in the spirit. Because the spiritual line was clear and being maintained as it was the previous. But then in the future they would do what they used to do. But then Yahshua would be in the Kadosh Kadoshim maintaining the spiritual line clear as long as they were being serviced. Much more coming up.